want to start with you, yeah.
Yes, good morning. Good to be here again on this last day. I'm honored to chair the first session of this, the last day of this exciting event. We have on the program the first session on education, innovation, and knowledge management, and I am happy to have four distinguished panelists that are going to be sharing with us their experiences and their work. And first of all, we will start with Mr. Davor Orlič, who is from the Institute of Jožef Stefan Knowledge for All Foundation. He's going to share with us his work and his ideas on this topic. So welcome again, and Orlič, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So quick raise of hands. Who's got a smartphone? Okay, have you? Nice, nice. Sorry?
Please make sure you turn them on.
Please.
I hope to show you some good stuff, so I need to know whether you're, in the zone. So, okay, who knows about open education and what that is? 1, 2, 3, okay. So who knows about Coursera? Okay, so you know about MOOCs, right? So I'm coming from the lab, which basically we're friends with Coursera. So what they've done in the States, we've done in Europe, just in a different sort of format, right? But let me show you a few slides, and then we'll skip to some more interesting stuff. So these are the projects that are basically that funded the whole thing up until now: trans lectures, media meets video lectures. Big promises of open and massive online education, right? So what can we do with open education? We can record everything from students' habits in reading, viewing lectures, so everything is online, all the way up to participation in discussion groups. So how can you monitor hundreds of thousands of people discussing? How can you translate all of that? How can you translate English into 10, 15 other languages? How can you time that? How can you measure the performance in exercises? How do you predict future student performance? If I have 2 Bs, will I have an A at the end of the semester? Is it possible? This and that. So we can select the sequence learning activities, have grade, and more. Understand educational content, how students learn, and communicate this understanding to basically teachers, right? So this is all done by machines. Right? There's no need for humans in that kind of sense. Why am I saying this? Because open education is basically, if you think about open accreditation, open content, so you can freely view stuff on the web now, right? You can go to, basically you can go to Wikipedia and learn from Wikipedia. It's not formal, so you don't get accreditation, but you get knowledge, right? You can go to YouTube, or you can enroll in a MOOC, or you can read an open access paper. You're getting knowledge, but you're not getting the formal recognition for this. But what's even more interesting is that this is all digital, right? All this content, these are all like PDFs, PowerPoints, videos, audio files, whatever, websites, this and that. But now with the computerization of education, basically you can do this, right? So if you have open universities, if you have, let's say, 10 universities in the world, like the Open University in the UK and in the Netherlands, basically that's, in computational terms, that's large-scale reasoning, right? So you can understand and reason how hundreds of students interact if the 2 universities are connected in a way. You can, let's say, have open educational resources, which are, again, PowerPoints, videos, and this and that, licensed with open licenses, But basically you have hundreds of thousands of those, so you can collect data and understand what's going on with that. So how people use that and how people learn on top of it. And the interesting thing is that this is, as you know, universities are based in cities are basically hubs, right? And if cities are hubs for knowledge, then again, you know, regions are providing this sort of like critical mass of call them learners, right? Online learners. And the catch, I think, is that the multiculturality and multilinguality are basically our competitive sort of advantage that we have if we think about the, let's say, the US kind of invasion in education, right? Because they are taking the lead. And all we can do is basically respond, but we have to do it in our own way. So the future of learning, I suppose this is not the future of learning. It's, you know, maybe that is, you know, that's sort of how like children feel in a way. This is basically the financial sort of notion of it. And that's basically probably the future, you know. Children don't really understand what a book is anymore. Why? Because they have smartphones, they have laptops. It's a different generation because everything is digital in a way. And even more than that, I feel that this is basically how the classroom was, right? This was done 50, 60, even more years ago by the, you know, British Empire and Austro-Hungarian Empire. We needed to have this in order to have what we have today, which is this, which, you know, probably will have as a next step this, in a way, right? So the future of learning is probably, you know, in education in a sustainable way. It's probably open, mobile, visual, augmented, right? Personal, social, and then again, this would be based in knowledge cities. It's again digital, it's distributed, everybody has it, everybody has access to it, it's open. So of course somebody has to pay for it in a certain step, but it's open for everyone, right? And it's again collaborative. People discuss the same things, they comment, they, you know, work together and up and down, left and right. So open education as a basic enabler for societal, business, cultural, technological growth, I suppose, right? Efficient research, innovation, new ideas, new value models, and new business models, right? Because there's no such thing as free lunch. My society, again, let's skip this, we're going to have time. So this is, you know, a rush is coming through the educational world nowadays. MOOCs are getting, you know, Google is getting into this, all the big players. In the UK, FutureLearn, and then again, you know, the MOOC thing is happening. So how can we actually, basically from Europe, how can we answer to this? So what we came up with is opening up Slovenia. So what we're saying is that we have a huge success with videolectures.net. I'll show you what this is. We have, you know, open-net projects at universities. We are supported by the ministry. We have loads of successful e-learning technologies, and we have the industry behind us. So Slovenia is basically proposing to take the lead in the European opening up education, so the big thing, by providing European state-level commitment for the program of opening up education. And basically what we're saying is that we want to have Slovenia as a huge research lab in online education. Because things are happening in a fast way and in a different way. Everything is digital, so you need to have machines in order to understand what's going on with the children who are using smartphones for games, all the way up to students who are basically enrolled in MOOCs, and whether there is a connection. So these are the initial players. All the universities and the ministry and some companies, primary education, kindergarten institutions, but I'm not going to bore you with this. These are all the institutions and much more, many more that are actually like the idea and would like to sort of like, they're interested in it. And then and the kickoff was a month ago, and we're aiming for a UNESCO chair in open technologies. And these are all the running projects that we have at this time. But I'll show you just one, because we don't have time. This should be enough. Yeah. So I'll show you something interesting. If you think about how you actually, if you have a 5-minute time span, then you go on YouTube and you watch, something short. It's fun. It's okay. If you want to do something interesting and you're depressed, then you go and you watch a TED Talk. It lightens you up. You feel happy. You think everything is possible. It's a TED Talk. It's fine. But if you want to do something like more substantial, then you have to watch a lecture, right? And basically, there is no place to watch a lecture online except on video lectures, which is this. It's a website basically that we're running in Ljubljana. Well, this is in the editorial mode. But basically, what you would have is 900 events, right? So basically, this is the browser, which is something that's not functioning. Do we have a techie guy in the house?
No.
Yeah.
But it's there, so you perhaps you open it in Internet Explorer or in a different browser, in Chrome or perhaps.
Close the browser. Let's use the browser. Usually when you want to show the most interesting stuff, something goes wrong.
So I open my computer.
That's it. Maybe it's shared on the other screen, possibly maybe. Is it?
Okay.
Right? Maybe none of the other. Right, so let's be fast. So basically, it's a website with hundreds of videos. But what's interesting is that
Good afternoon.
can you see the
I'm Davor Fitzgerald, the Dean of the
The,
School of
subtitles.
Humanities, Arts, and Social Sciences here at MIT, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the Robert A. Neal Alumni Award Ceremony and Lecture. Very glad to see such a nice
So these are red because they're
turnout
testing the
for this
right
great
colors,
talk.
right?
Uh,
The
I
research
want to
group
say a
is
few
testing the
words
right
before
colors.
we begin.
But
though,
what you
about
see
the
is
Robert A.
basically
Neal Award.
a
It was
transcription
established
done by a
in the
machine.
year 2000 on the
So there's
50th
no humans
anniversary
involved
of
in
the
this.
School of
This
Humanities,
is all
Arts,
being
and
done by
Social
a machine.
Sciences. Bowley, class of 1951,
If I go on the player and I
the award to
take
honor
from
alumni
English to
who
Slovene
have
or
gone
from
on to
English to
make
French,
major contributions
I'll have
to
the
education,
automatic
scholarship,
translation of this.
performance,
So there are no
and
humans involved,
leadership
right?
and administration,
So if you picture
humanities,
yourself
arts, and
in
social sciences.
having your talk or
Bowley
anybody's
is a
talk,
lifetime member of the
in your own
MIT
language,
Foundation, a
and then you
longstanding
can
member
change
of the
languages
corporation's
to whichever
Humanities
language you
Visiting
want.
Committee, which he
Basically,
chaired from
you are more than global,
1991
right?
until 2005, which I think has got to be a record.
If you see the text, this is not just text, this is data, right? So if you
He's also
take
past president
20,000
of the
talks,
Alumni Association.
and you have
That Bob, with his
the
busy
transcription
schedule,
of
finds
20,000
the
talks,
all that he does
you
for
can
his own
module,
authors inspiring to
visualize,
others. And I
take,
want to admit
make descriptions, you can take out words and generate a paper,
Bob is the founder
automatically
of Sutter
take out
Securities
words and
Incorporated in
generate,
San Francisco, and he is here today to
you know,
celebrate
connect words,
2009
put them in a curriculum in a completely different way. So if this lady is talking about, so if she's talking, the category she's talking in is economics, but if she speaks about physics in this talk, then we'll know, right? Because we can extract that part when she talks about physics. It cannot be done unless you have a description. So, transcribing 20,000 lectures with a translation agency would cost from 10 to 11 million euros. And this is a research project for 3 millions. But we are getting out the tools so that we can make it sustainable, right? And we can add languages to it. And any language actually that has a digital that has been digitally undertaken in a research environment. So this can be changed even into whichever language you want actually, and back and forth. So this is something that we're working at and playing with, and this is basically this and probably 10 of projects that we have in the same sort of vein are basically the future in a way. So how to take this, shape it up, reuse it, and that's it. So if you have questions, or maybe later on, right?
Everyone can use this technology?
It's free. Open source.
It's open source.
Absolutely.
Okay.
So I can upload a video and it will give me the subtitles?
No.
To put it in a short sentence, yes, but not now at this moment. This is being done in a completely different way, probably than you can imagine. This all the videos are basically taken into a separate repository that are being run on virtual machines and translated with language models, which takes up to 6 months. So having this in real time is impossible at this time. Nobody has the technology. Although we are working on it, to be honest. But can no one, or I just should use them. So, but we have this business model where we're thinking of where people can actually upload their own stuff and it would get transcribed for peanuts.
Okay, we have another question from the back.
I have a question regarding translation. How it works? Is it more like Google Translation, or are you running your own program for it?
So this is machine translation, right? So machines, usually you need to give a machine something so that the machine can give you something back. Google has a very general approach to translation, whereas this is specifically done on the scientific and research vocabulary. So this guy is speaking with a vocabulary that has specific words for this language domain. So the language models are adopted specifically for science. And at this point, for this specific, actually it's a good question, for this specific sort of segment, we have a better error rate, it's called error rate, than Google Translate, which means that we make less mistakes than Google does.
It's mostly for technical science, right?
Yes.
I think.
Well, I mean, it's in general, yeah. The majority of the talks are basically computer science, so it's, again, trained for those kind of models.
Okay, we have time for one more quick question and then.
So if you were to use this, so I work with the UN, so if you were to use this and you wanted to go public with it,
Yeah.
so, I mean, I know this, you're still in beta, but how quickly could you do that? And then how do you edit the text? Because obviously it's, like you say, I don't know what percentage your correction, like percentage your...
It depends on the language, but it's 90 for English, 90%.
But if
But
you
it depends
wanted to
on
go in and correct the language, how you would have an option to do that?
So before coming to this point, we had internal evaluations, which means that the machine would the machine would generate text, and then we would have internal evaluations, which means that we had students, translators, basically going through the text and edit it. They sort of like edit the words with the exact pronunciation of the speaker and this and that. So they kind of updated the text. And we took those back and we updated the language models. So that the next iteration of transcriptions were even better. So we've done this, I think, 3 or 4 times to keep it getting better and better. And now we're basically designing how to try and do this on a large scale for the general public. So external evaluations, we call them.
And you would have, so your idea would be kind of a subscription basis idea? Or?
We were discussing this. We don't know how to actually sort of like do it because we've never done it before. The way we've done it is, you know, we went around and we recorded conferences, you know, top-notch, like state-of-the-art, semantic web, machine learning, computer science in general, artificial intelligence, also other branches, but this is our thing, you know, we went out there, we recorded it, we came back, we put it online. We didn't think much about the community and, you know, of course we let people talk, we're, you know, straightforward left wing, but we never sort of kind of thought about how to interact with the community. And we're also thinking about human-computer interaction projects, which means how do you interact with this? Because to be honest, 45 minutes is too long. I cannot stand 45 minutes of a video lecture. There's no way, I cannot handle it. So how is the best way to sort of do it, change it, and you know, just we'll have 5 minutes.
No, we actually.
5 minutes.
But I can show you stuff later on also,
Yeah.
where we're basically fragmenting images. So yeah, stuff like that.
Yeah, thanks, Davor. I think we see that once again there are tools for providing education, especially in easy way. I would say the challenge it is, of course, also for this team to find out how can we make available technologies or services like this one, also to some of the areas that we are concerned with. Those who cannot afford this technology, you know, it's a great tool. When you've mentioned that somebody has to pay for them, you know, here we can access them, but how can we make sure that they can be also accessed in some of the remote areas that we are trying to advocate for? And I think for that we will have a good speaker later on to explain some of the ways that we can do that. Thanks so much, Davor.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is